Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Not London Narratives. Um, Before I say anything, I just want to say I am incredibly proud of my team. I'm incredibly proud to be a Tottenham Hotspur fan. And what I saw today is a team that has a very bright future. And I know that is crazy because we were winning two and we ended up losing. And it's like, yeah, we bottled it. They had only trained for 1 week. But those PSG players played for 90 minutes. I don't think those PSG players were players that necessarily took long breaks. I don't think that those were players that trained for just 1 week. I don't think so. I don't think that they didn't come into this game wanting to win. I don't think that. Do I think that they trained for 1 week as a team? Without a doubt. But individually, those guys did not look as unfit as you would think. So yeah, I am very proud of my team, and I think that this is a team today that showed me that the future is bright. And I say that because if you look at the team that we put out today, there weren't lots of quality up front, but we showed fight. And when we lost that game was when the people on the pitch got tired and we had to bring on subs. In my opinion, that was the moment we lost that game because PSG's depth, players like Likani, players like that, Gonçalo Ramos, Fabian Ruiz coming off the bench. These are high caliber players and the quality will definitely show. But this manager and this team under this manager, I genuinely think that the future is bright. And this loss is one of those moments where you might have lost the game, but we saw something. I saw something. I don't know how others feel. I don't know how other fans feel. I've not watched anybody's review. I've not watched anything. I was streaming that, but I felt like this was one of those performances where, in my opinion, it showed me that we have a very bright future. And I say we have a very bright future. Wait, okay. Let me see. What have I just seen? What do you mean, Dolphin? Hi, how you doing? But what do you mean? What do you mean by what have you just seen? Do you mean it was a bad performance? Let me know. You guys watching, let me know your thoughts about the performance. But what I saw today was one of those performances in the sense that I felt like Tottenham Hotspur, if you look at our recruitment this window, we've brought in Kudus. We've gone for Gibbs White. We've brought in Paulinia. We are being linked to Savio. We're being linked to Eze. These are players that come into our starting 11. And I genuinely think that Thomas Frank, a lot of these players are not going to be here for long. I'm telling you guys now, Brennan Johnson is not going to be here for long. Richarlison is not going to be here for long. Even Solanke is not going to be here for long. Because I don't think that Thomas is one of those managers that, he's one of those people that I think that they might have like a nice personality, he's always smiling and whatever. But I think that all that niceness is all a front for who Thomas Frank truly is. Genuinely. The subs were unnecessary. Exactly. I feel like that's where we lost the game today. And that's why I think that hello, Tottenham for life. This is my first time seeing you here. Okay, let me good performance from us, but what was that ending? The subs were unnecessary. That's the thing. I think that that's where we lost the game. I think that the subs were where we lost the game, and the subs are going to improve with time. I think that the subs are going to improve with time when we start bringing in players like Savio, the players that in the starting lineup right now start going to the bench. When you bring in an Eze, the players that in the starting lineup right now start going to the bench, and that improves us. And I think that Thomas is not like Ange. Like Thomas has been in the league. Thomas knows the league. And Thomas knows quality. Do you get what I'm saying? So when he sees quality, he knows that, like, for instance, I always make reference to the signing Brennan Johnson to replace Harry Kane. Do you get what I'm saying? Brennan Johnson is Harry Kane's replacement. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. So I show you what I'm talking about. And I always make reference to that. And that's when, like, I started to have concerns about Ange. Let me check for it. Brennan Johnson. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ange wants Brennan Johnson as Harry Kane's replacement. I've searched for this. Yeah. No, 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 no. I can't even find it. I can't even find it. I can't find it. Yes, yes, this is it here. Brennan Johnson completes move to Tottenham as Harry Kane's replacement. This kind of rubbish, this kind of rubbish will not be happening under Thomas Frank. And that's the thing, like, players that are on the bench right now are going to leave this team. Bissouma is going to leave this team. Brennan Johnson is not going to see the light of day in this team. And I'm telling you guys, he's not going to see. These players are not going to be in this team because they are not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. And how far we've fallen is crazy. But today, I have hope. That's one thing I'm holding on today. Today, I saw a team that is ready to fight for one another, a team that now has had a taste of winning. And we saw that today. The difference between us and PSG today was quality on the pitch. That was genuinely the difference. If you, like, a lot of the chances that we had, a lot of the breakaways that we had, if you replace Richarlison with a Mateta, we win this game today. Honestly speaking, we do. If we replace Richarlison with Mateta, we win this game today. So with time, that is going to come. And we coach him. Because this man has only had like 4-5 weeks with this team. The future, in my opinion, is bright. Hello, how are you doing? Personally, I thought Spurs played really well. Exactly. I have a lot of notes here that we'll go through. I didn't really watch the second half because I was having a conversation with my brother. But I noticed, like, when we started substituting players, we started becoming shaky. I know PSG had only been back 1 week training, but we put in a proper shift and went to one of the best teams. Honestly, I think that this whole back to training for 1 week thing is an absolute lie. And let me tell you why I think that. PSG, in the first place, are not new under this manager. They know how they want to play. They know the things that they want to do. They know the things that this manager wants to do. So that is that. And they are familiar with each other's game. They understand each other's movements and whatever. Which is why, even though they had been training as a team for 1 week, they looked fluid to a certain degree. And the second thing is, if you genuinely think that these players had not played football for like what, 4-5 weeks since the Club World Cup, they wouldn't be able to last 90 minutes. So I think that these players had at least 2-3 weeks of at least 2 weeks of individual training, which is why somebody like Dembele could last 90 minutes. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that a player that is just coming, like, we've seen how preseason is. These guys can't play 90 minutes without having some sort of training. I say that this is like the most people I've heard in their life for the first time ever. So hello everyone. If you're new here, please leave a like, please subscribe and turn on post notifications. Hi, I'm Teslim, and please leave in chats. Let me get to know you guys. Yeah, new to the channel. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, bro. Where are you from? Tottenham for life. Let me know. What country do you live in? Where are you from? I'm Nigerian, by the way. My name is Teslim. I'm Nigerian. So hello, nice to meet you. And this was also without Madison and Kulusevski. Don't forget that. Exactly. Like, I think if you even replace Richarlison with a Kulusevski, that changes the whole game entirely. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going to. I think that there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope. But let me start. Okay, you're in the UK. Okay, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I have Shanta that is in America. I think I can't remember where BM is from, but I know he's a Liverpool fan. So yeah, it's quite obviously a Tottenham fan. So yeah, let's see. So firstly, as predicted yesterday, I predicted yesterday that we're going to use a 3-5-2. Like, that is what I thought we're going to use, and that's exactly what Thomas Frank went with. The tactical setup was exactly as I predicted, because I knew that we couldn't go toe to toe with PSG. We would run mad, or we would be crazy to try to do that. Like, we'll be absolutely crazy to try to do that, because their midfielders would play through us and slice through us like knives slicing through butter. Genuinely speaking, it was going to be that easy. But as predicted, but I noticed that what I predicted was a defensively resolute performance. I thought that we would try to sit back and use the likes of Pedro Porro and Kudus to carry us up the field, and we didn't do that. And I also thought he would use, I think I predicted Brennan or Solanke in the lineup. I think it was Solanke instead of Richarlison. So I found that very interesting. But yeah, this is what we did today, and I felt like we. Sorry, what did I just do? Anyways, I'll sort that. I felt like we were more attacking than what I thought we would be, and the same thing, like the exact same troubles that we had seen in preseason was exactly what we saw here today. Is that defensively we're good, midfield were okay, but then carrying that ball forward has been a huge problem. Whenever the ball gets to Richarlison, majority of the time he breaks down or he does something outrageous with the ball. Do you get what I'm saying? And that has been a huge problem for us. And signing players like Eze, signing players like Eze, signing players like what's his name? Signing players like Savio will really help us do that. And this is why, like, I know people are probably tired of me talking about Gibbs White all the time. How do you only have 62 subs? Okay, so let me tell you, yeah, I had like over 300 subs and I deleted my channel. I regret it, but yeah, I regret it, but yeah, so I'm trying to build it back up again. So, because after I deleted my channel, because I just felt like I couldn't commit to it, and then like trying to recommit to it after deleting it back was very demoralizing because you're trying to grow it again. Because I already had like videos on 3K views, 2K views, a couple thousand views, and like over 300 subs, and it's like now I'm starting again from the beginning is much more difficult. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, thank you very much. I'm very grateful about it. So yeah, we have Bentancur here, and I felt like we would try to use the likes of Poro and Kudus to like come out. Do you get what I'm saying? But like we didn't do that at all. We were much more attacking than I thought we would be. So I'm coming. Sorry. I struggle multitasking. Okay, so now I have this here. So this is how we set up today. And I felt like we're going to do this. Yeah. This is what I predicted going into the game. Sorry, it's not Udogi. It's meant to be Spence. Sorry. Yeah. This is what I thought we would do. Something like this. Why is this not working? Okay. Something like this. Yeah. Like two banks, a bank of 4 and a bank of 5, and then we'll be defensively resolute, and then we'll use this side to attack. But that's not what we did today. Today, these three midfielders, I have to give credit where due because today they were phenomenal. They were phenomenal today. And the thing I noticed about today is the same thing I've been banging on. And I know, like I said, people are already probably tired of me talking about the Gibbs White. But if you look at how we play today, majority of the time, our only outlet, I know Jed Spence tried here. He was phenomenal in the first half. But this guy, the breakouts kept on breaking with this guy. And majority of the time, when we needed to carry the ball out, like we're under pressure, Kudus had to be dropping deep to carry the ball out. And that is what I felt like Gibbs White was going to give us. Gibbs White was going to give us long passing range, which is something that, of all our midfielders, the closest we have to that is Bergvall. We have very similar type midfielders, and their profiles are very similar. None of them really have that passing range, which is what I felt like Thomas Frank wanted to do with Gibbs White. So as soon as you get the ball, like for instance, let's say there's a play where a Paulinia gets the ball, and instead of Bentancur, let's say it's Gibbs White, as soon as he gets the ball, he gives the ball to Gibbs White, and Gibbs White is able to set off Kudus, who is already making a run. And now, instead of Kudus having to drop deep and run here, now Kudus is coming this way to the defender, and it's much more harder to defend someone like a Kudus when he's running directly at you because he's a tricky winger. And now, like when you add a Savio, it's looking more interesting. And when you have like a Gibbs White giving the balls directly to the wingers and isolating, because like instead of trying to carry the ball, you are using passes, so you're bypassing the midfield. When you bypass the midfield with a pass, and by bypassing the midfield, I mean basically this, what Pedro Porro does. So lots of times last season we saw Pedro Porro giving Madison balls here. So he basically passes from here all the way to Richarlison directly, and by doing that, you bypass this space and automatically remove them from the game. Do you get what I'm saying? So doing like having a Gibbs White doing that, you are bypassing the midfield and giving the balls to our wingers. And now you can't double up on a Kudus if you have a Savio, because we're playing much more direct and our wingers are very tricky. They're hard to stop. So, and it's not just one person that we have as a threat. So now you can't double up on a Savio and double up on a Kudus. So if you're trying to do that, somebody else is going to be free. And it makes us much more dangerous, like genuinely speaking. So yeah, I found that very interesting, like how we played today, because it wasn't what I expected. I thought it would be very defensive, but we're more like this today, to be fair. This is what I saw. We basically literally played a 3-5-2. And I thought we'd play a 5-4-1, but we played a 3-5-2. So yeah, I thought that was incredibly interesting. Now, Richarlison is another talking point. I have my tab here. I have my tab here, and I wrote my notes in my tab. So Richarlison is another talking point, because Richarlison is useless as a goal scorer, which makes me concerned in some ways for next season, in the sense that I don't think that our strikers are good enough, but at the same time, I don't think that we can fix everything in one window. I understand that we can't fix everything in one window, and it will take some time to build a team that can compete quite reasonably on all fronts. I understand that. So it's going to take a minute to build the team that we want to build. But having a Savio and a Kudus is really going to help Richarlison, in the sense that today we saw Richarlison trying to get the ball and link up with Kudus, but he can't do that. If anything, Richarlison is going to be pivotal. I think it's pivotal. Yeah, pivotal for us against low blocks, because Thomas Frank has spoken about how we're going to be basically spamming in crosses against low blocks, or in his other tactical videos that I've watched. So a player like Richarlison, who is good in the air, is going to be good for that. But long term, do I think that Richarlison solves our striker problem? No. And if you guys remember what Fabrizio said, Fabrizio spoke about how if Richarlison leaves, we're going to replace him with Jackson. And while I don't think that Jackson is the best player ever, I think Jackson is levels above both of our strikers. And that's just my opinion. If you think different, you can let me know in the comments, and we can debate why. But if I show you the stats, I'm telling you, Jackson is way better than what we have in front right now. Let me show you guys. The one thing that he has two flaws, I would say, and those are, number one, his finishing, and number two, his aerial ability. But aside from that, Nicolas Jackson is a very good player. And the thing about, like, I heard somebody talking about how in Villarreal he played his best football, and it's the same thing with Savio, because, like, if you guys remember Chelsea last season under Enzo Maresca, like earlier in the season, Chelsea were playing more in transitional situations, where they sort of created situations where, like, because they had very good ball winners, they were able to win the ball back from the opponents and automatically create transitional situations. And I think that Tottenham Hotspur is going to be more of a transitional than a low block side, which is what I struggled with under Ange Postecoglou, because under the likes of Jose and Conte, we didn't have much chances, but the chances we had were high quality chances, because we caught teams on the break and in transition. So because you're in transition, the chances are higher quality, because now you're not facing a low block, you're facing defenders that are running back towards goal and they are unsettled, rather than people that are sitting in two banks of five, a 5-5-0, and they are staying there saying, we're going to defend, break us down. That is much more difficult. So yeah, player like Nicolas Jackson now is going to play much better in that kind of situation. If you look at, like, his stats, ball carrying and all these things, like ball carrying is going to be very key for us in a transitional side, which is what it looks like we're going to be under Thomas Frank. Is not necessarily like attacking or defensive. It's going to be transitional. You are defensively solid and you create transitional situations. So I think that, like I said, I don't think that Richarlison is the long-term solution. when I first saw Solanke under Ange, I thought he was, because he looked strong. He looked like he could body up defenders and he could be strong in transition. But maybe he has been playing with Madison too much. Now he's falling down on the floor for every small thing. So yeah, I think that it's clear to everybody that when we sign new attackers, we're going to be way better than we were today, because a lot of our play in the first half broke down when the ball got to Richarlison. So yeah, I think that that is something that is going to improve with time. It's just a matter of when, hopefully when we signed the likes of Eze, we signed the likes of Savio. So I think that's going to improve when we have options like Kulu, we have options like Madison to bring off the bench, and that gives us a different dynamic entirely. I think that's going to be incredibly interesting, and I would like to see how Thomas Frank sets up the team. And when we have like a midfielder that can do or sort of be a deep line playmaker for us as well, I would also like to see how like that changes how we play, and it will make us way faster in transition. So yeah, in the 32nd minute of the game, I had a grin on my face. And even though it was 0-0 at that point in time, like I said, I was very proud of my team, and I was very excited, or I am very excited about what the future holds for this Tottenham Hotspur team. Like, preseason was fine, and of all the preseason games, the closest one that was like the closest one to a real game, I would say, was the Arsenal game. And I liked what I saw. And while I understood that preseason was about fitness, so I didn't want to read too much into the results, the Arsenal game was not necessarily just about fitness. And I saw what this team was about. I saw a defensively resolute performance and good things. I saw a lot of good things. And today, I saw the same thing. But the problem is that when we brought on the likes of Matisse, the likes of Archie Gray, and others, there was a huge drop off. Like, there was this moment where I lost my head. Matisse had just come on not long ago, and I think he was Vitinha, was at the edge of the box, and he just runs into him and fouls him and gives them a free kick. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, little things like that. Like, these players, personally, I don't think he's good enough for Tottenham Hotspur based on what I've seen. Hopefully, he's going to improve. But these players are either going to walk out or be out of the door. Because I don't know, let me confirm because like I said, for the second half, I spent it talking to my brother. So I'm not necessarily 100% sure on the players that came on, but let me confirm so I don't tell you people something wrong. Let me check. Did Brennan Johnson come on today? No, he did not. Was he on the bench? Yes. Exactly. Can you guys see what I'm saying? Can you see what I'm saying? I'm telling you guys, there are certain players that are not, their future will not be on Tottenham Hotspur. And Thomas Frank, while he always has a smile on his face and whatever, he's one of those silent killers where he might be smiling with you, but when it's time to be serious, he will be, and he will make it clear to you that you're not part of his plans. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think we got a glimpse of that with Bissouma. He's not going to mess about. He's not here to mess about. He's here to win. And he wouldn't have come here if he didn't think that he had a chance of winning, like he said in his interview. So if you see, when you see players like Matistel coming on over Brennan Johnson, that should tell you everything you need to know about Brennan Johnson. And let me tell you, when I knew that Brennan Johnson was in big trouble, this manager came into this Tottenham Hotspur side. Brennan Johnson was a top goal scorer last season. And the first thing he didn't even think twice. The first thing he did was to sign a new right winger. And he's like, this Brennan Johnson guy cannot be my right winger next season. Straight up, he signed a new right winger. After signing a new right winger, he tried to sign a number 8 because the likes of Bissouma don't have a future at this club. Then he signs a number 6 because that's a profile, a destroyer, is a profile that we didn't have. Then Son leaves, Matistel, Otobe, you're not ready to take up the mantle, no problem. Brennan Johnson, he tries him on the left wing. You're not ready to put in the work for the team. You're not ready to take on your man. You're not ready to take your career seriously. And in the sense that I follow Brennan Johnson on Instagram. And at the end of not this summer, the summer before that, after Angie's first season, I was fuming with Brennan because I was like, you came into this side. we can all tell that one-on-one dribbling isn't your strong suit and you're on vacation. Like, this is your job. You're meant to be trying to improve at your job. Why is it that I feel like I am more concerned about your performance at your job than you are? I understand you need a break, but the season you had wasn't good. And if a player is a top goal scorer and fans are still telling you that he's not good enough for the club, that should tell you everything that you need to know about the player. So yeah, players like Brennan, honestly, I know it sounds like I have an agenda against Brennan, but I just want to see better players on my club, if I'm being honest. And a player like this is not going to last because the manager tried him on the left wing, tried him on the right wing, and he's like, "You're not going to do this? Okay, no problem. Savio, come in." And that's how it's going to be. Like, from what I'm seeing, Thomas Frank is going to be very cutthroat. He's not here to mess about. He's not here. Like, I see Tottenham fans, there are lots of times when we sign a player, the player doesn't do well, and we're like, "Oh, give him another season and give him another season." I think that mentality is going to change. Like, you see Chelsea. Chelsea give Jackson 1 season, Jackson 2 seasons, no problem. You're not doing it, go. Kai Havertz, 1 season, 2 season, 3 seasons, you're not doing it, bye-bye. Yao Felix, 1 season, you're not doing it, bye-bye. Like, do you get what I'm saying? They're very cutthroat. And I think that we need to change our mentality as fans. And that stems from the club. And that stems from the manager. The whole culture at Tottenham Sport is going to change. It is going to change. And we're already seeing signs. Like, I am seeing signs, and I love the signs I am seeing. And while, like, we are far from the finished article, we are far from where we want to be as a club, we are far from where we want to be as a team, we are far from achieving the things we want to achieve long term. I think that so far, I like the things I'm seeing. I like the things I'm seeing. And I say so far because I can't just ignore 25 years of underperformance, 25 years of unambition, like not being ambitious enough, in my opinion. Ambition is subjective. But in my opinion, where I see Tottenham Hotspur is not the ambition that the ownership have shown. So I can't just ignore that. But so far, we've been very good. I thought Jet Spence in the first half had a very good game, defensively and attacking wise. And it was really interesting to see because I said yesterday, and I've said a couple times, Hakimi and Rich James, when fit, are two of the best right backs in the world, in my opinion. Go like defensively and attacking wise. And Spence not only matched him for pace, but also for strength as well. And I think I can't remember the players that did an interview, and they were talking about how the second fastest player in the squad after Van de Ven is Jet Spence, and like between them is tight. And I was really like surprised at that. Like, two of our players, I can't remember the people that the content was on, but yeah. So he's strong, he's tall, very good game in the first half, in my opinion. I thought our structure was really good. We're defensively solid. We were very good. Everybody played their role well. I thought these two were sort of in trouble sometimes with Bakola, but these two here were very solid. And this one's here, very solid. This one did his work. Here, much room for improvement. Here too, first half, much room for improvement. And we were quite comfortable in the first half, in my opinion. And I think we went into the first half winning 1-0, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 39th minute. Yeah, we went in winning 1-0. And I thought that was incredibly interesting. I thought that we looked very, very, very dangerous from set pieces, especially considering the fact that Madison, our best deliverer of the ball, wasn't around. And one thing I noticed is that, guys, we're starting to look very big as a team. Like, we're starting to have some really big players. And if you look at, like, if you guys think back to Arsenal, everybody talks about how Arsenal's team is big. If you look at City are quite big. Like, you have the likes of Haaland, you have Doku and Savio who are small, but you have De Bruyne who wasn't necessarily small or like not physical. You have Rodri, you have Kovacic, you have like solid, strong Vadio, you have strong players there. Kyle Walker, very strong players. Arsenal too. Declan Rice, you have Odegaard that is not weak. You have Gabriel, you have Raya that is quite an aerial presence in itself. You have Saliba, you have Ben White, you have Timber that is quite physical. Like, a lot of these players are very physical. Sakara is strong. And Tottenham Hotspur now are slowly looking stronger. Danso is quite big. Don't forget, we also have Dragishin, quite big. We have Romero, 6 foot tall. I think he's 6 feet tall. Van de Ven, 6'4". Spence, quite big. Pedro Porro isn't the biggest. Sa isn't weak. He isn't weak. He has some room to improve, but he isn't weak. Yao Polinia, 6'3". Bentancur isn't weak. Kudus, even though he has a small frame, isn't weak. Richarlison might not be the best player in the world, but he isn't weak. Solanke might not be the best player in the world, but he isn't weak. And slowly, we're becoming a physical team. And the reason why I'm pointing out this physicality thing is that there were lots of times on that end where we had likes of Brennan and Son, and this is no anything on them, or Madison in the lineup, and Kulu as well is not weak. Like, we had these players in the lineup, and when we couldn't beat teams, like when teams couldn't match us based on ability, they started going to physicality. So they were like, one team that did that very well against us was Everton. Like, when they know that they can't beat you for ability, they start going physical. And that's what we did in the final against Manchester United, because we knew that they had the better team and whatever, and we had to be very physical. So we played a midfield of Bentancur, Sa, and Bissouma, which was very physical. We're very physical on that Manchester United side. And that's one thing, like, the best teams, if you want to play technical ability, they can do it. If you want to play physical, they can do it. Do you get what I'm saying? And Tottenham Hotspur, it looks like under Thomas Frank, they are building a side that, if you want to play like fine boy football, and I say fine boy football, like pretty football, we can do it. And if you want to play like dog rough football, we will be able to do it as well. That is the kind of side we're building. So, and that is the kind of side that can win tournaments. That's the kind of side that can challenge for things. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, Jose talked about how we are not, we need more something heads in the team. We need to be able to play like something heads sometimes, if the need be. Like, do you get what I'm saying? And that is something that I noticed today, that we are becoming a very physical side, or a side that can also do that other side. Now, today, like I said, ability was the difference today. Like, ability in the two teams, depth was the difference today. But for a side that is what, 5, 6 weeks into a new manager, into a new project, I like the signs. And the most interesting thing about this, in my opinion, was that the only change to this side from last season, or the only two changes to this side from last season, were Paulinia and Kudus. So this is basically and Postecoglou's side. And yet, we could take Paris Saint-Germain to extra time. And like, if that doesn't make you feel optimistic, I don't think anything will. Because this isn't this manager's side. This is not a team that he has had for a year. This is a team he has had for a couple weeks. And our structure, like, mind you, not every week are we going to play a side like PSG. Do you get what I'm saying? And aside from that, we're going to be bringing in new additions. So we're going to improve the depth. We're going to improve the first 11. So we're going to be even better. And with time under this manager, we're going to be better. So I think that things looked really good for me. And I also thought that Kudus and Mendes was a very interesting battle, because we've seen Mendes pocket a lot of wingers. But one thing that he couldn't do, and this is back to the strength thing, a lot of the times today, he tried to, hello, Azar, nice to meet you. Welcome to my channel. Hello, it's nice to have you here. I'm devastated. Honestly, I am not. And I know that is, did I feel disappointed in a way that we were winning and we ended up losing? Without a doubt. But I thought that we fought today. And I'm telling you guys, the reason why we didn't win this game today, in my opinion, and I know this might seem unfair, but I don't think it is the board. Because if you guys change this, let me show you. If you change this, to this, if you change this to this, yeah, and let's say somebody's tired and you have this changing to who, none other than this. It takes this changes the game entirely. Entirely. That's what I'm saying. Like the depth changing Kudus and Sal was the problem. Exactly. And that's why the likes of Brennan can't play. Brennan doesn't have a future in this team because you have everybody. If you look at like everybody always makes reference to the moment where Enrique was talking to Mbappe and telling him that you have to like put in the work defensively for this team and whatever. Brennan doesn't even have the ability of Mbappe. And Brennan doesn't do enough defensively. Brennan doesn't have a future in this team. And I've been saying it since. Brennan doesn't have a future in this team. He can't take on a man one-on-one. He can only score tap-ins. He does, and you're not willing to put in the work defensively. That's the thing that a lot of people always try to. A lot of people sometimes I see a lot of people sometimes are confused that why Tottenham fans are very accepting rather of a Richarlison, and that's because Richarlison might not be the most gifted player ability-wise. But one thing that you can never say about Richarlison is that Richarlison does not try. You can never say that. Richarlison gives you his 101% every single time he's on that pitch. He might not be the best player, but he would put in the effort for the team. He's going to give his all for the team. And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's my problem with players like Marcus Rashford. That's my problem with players like Bernard Johnson. You can't not tell me, you cannot tell me that you are not going to work hard for the team. Other people are going to be working hard for you. I'm not going to accept that in my team. I'm sorry. I won't. And it seems like the manager as well won't, because here he would rather bring on a Matistel, an Achigre, a Bergval, an unfit Solanke over Brennan Johnson. That tells you all you need to do. Odobe, I've spoken about how Odobe is very loose on the ball. I know he's still young, but sometimes he can be very lax on the ball. There is a reason why he's not coming on. And I'm glad that the manager is seeing the exact same things I'm seeing, which means I know I'm not mistaken about these things. You can't bring them on against PSG. PSG's press. The amount of goals that he scored last season just from pressing alone is incredible. That's what they used to destroy Real Madrid in the Club World Cup. They didn't necessarily have to do too much. Just press their defenders. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. And like the way the game is going, everybody needs to put in a shift. And honestly, Brennan Johnson doesn't have a future here. And back to what I was saying, like the reason why we lost this game today, honestly, was because of the team or the ownership. Because if you had brought in players like Eze, players like Xavi, today, a Richarlison just doesn't start. You have this guy and this guy causing chaos. And if Eze is tired, if Kudus is tired, you are bringing on a Savinho. That is what we're changing to. This is the quality that we're bringing on. And now, players like Brennan Johnson, players like Richarlison are pushed further down the pecking order. And they understand that they have no future here at this club. So if you know you want to play for your country, if you know you want to play the World Cup, go and find a team that is going to play you, because it's not going to be here. It's as simple as that. We have to be ruthless. We have to be ruthless because we've spent so many years in mediocrity. Like, for God's sake, under Poch, top four used to be a given. Top four used to be a given. It was about what else could we do. Top four was guaranteed. It was what else. It was what else. And now we're talking about top 8. Now we're talking about not even finishing in Europe in our first season under Ange. It's not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. For a club this big, it's not acceptable. And for years, I feel like we've been accepting mediocrity. And I thank God that last season happened, because I think last season was the awakening that this board needed. Because all this signing, Achigre, signing Bergval, signing Matistel, we're going every year, we go down, 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 down. And last year, 17th, you know that you're doing something wrong. You know you're doing something wrong. You know you're doing something wrong. And I'm glad that I hope to God that they're able to get this Eze and Sapio signing. But like everybody sees now that this isn't good enough and we need to improve. We need to change whatever we're doing, because whatever we're doing is not working. It is not working. Press triggers. So yeah, I noticed that a lot of the time when, like, before they reached here, the halfway line, we didn't really press. Like, we didn't really press them. We just left them with the ball. And the moments where our press triggered was when they got to the halfway line. So when the ball was with their centre backs, we didn't really try to disturb them, which was incredibly interesting because if you think back to under Ange, it was very gun ho. Like under Ange, it was as soon as you lose the ball, press again, press again, press again, and let's try to choke them and keep them there and whatever. But under Thomas, it was quite different. It was quite different under Thomas. We had press triggers. We chose times to press wisely, and we were quite solid and structured and unified in the press as well, which I thought was very interesting. Um, Captain Romero is also another talking point for me because I felt like today in the first half he didn't really do too much, but that goal was a glimpse of what we're going to see, or the Romero we're going to see under this new manager. I think that was a glimpse of it. I'm trying to check if there has been any updates because for the last like 2-3 hours, I haven't touched my phone because I've been watching the game, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, like I felt like that moment from Romero, that goal from Romero was a sign of things to come in this new Tottenham Hotspur side, under this new manager, under this new leadership. And I genuinely feel hopeful for the future. And today was one of those games, like I said, that even though we did not win, even though we didn't win, I felt positive and I saw a lot of good signs for the future and things to come. I felt like I did. I genuinely felt like I did. So, for instance, now, let's say we do this. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. It's in the little things. It's in the little things. Let's say we sign this guy, Anthony Robinson. Now, Udogi is no longer settled in his position. And now, Jet Spence, who we think is a decent player, by the way, Jet Spence moves to where? Right back. So now our right back depth improves. Now we don't have to play an Gray at right back anymore. We can just play. Um. Okay. No update on Sabio. We can now play Spence at right back, which improves our right back depth, and Anthony Robinson here. If we replace the likes of a Richarlison with, I don't know, the player that we've been linked to is Calimundo. So let's say Calimundo. Now, we're not having Richarlison who can only press. Do you get what I'm saying? If you replace, who else again? Today we play the back four. Today we play the back five. So let's say you do this. And you replace this guy with Savinho. Now, you are pushing the likes of a Richarlison to the bench. If you replace, I think it's probably going to be Sa. If you replace Sa with an Eze, you are pushing Sa, who is currently in the starting lineup. Sorry, not this Eze. Trezeguet. Not Trezeguet. Eze to the starting lineup. And you're pushing, slowly pushing these players to the bench and improving your squad. And that's what Chelsea have been doing. That's what Chelsea have been doing because now they signed in an Esteval. Now the likes of a okay, they first signed the lap. They signed the lap, then they signed Yao Pedro on top of the lap. So now Yao Pedro, the lap, when they signed him, would probably have entered their lineup. So now they're signing a Yao Pedro to push the lap to the bench. They're signing Esteval to push Neto to the bench. You're signing Gittins. Sancho has gone, so Madueke has also gone. So yes, Madueke, sorry. You're pushing a what's the name? Garnacho to the bench. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what we need to do. And I genuinely think that under this manager, time with this manager, proper coaching and development, there is a lot to gain from this team. And there is a lot more to do with this team. Do I think that this season we're going to be the complete thing? No. But I think that a lot of people are really going to be surprised by Tottenham Hotspur. That's if we get the players that we need. If we get an Eze, if we get another left back, if we get a Savio, we get a number 9, which I think is genuinely a problem. The future is bright. In my humble opinion, the future is bright. But you guys, let me know your thoughts on everything I've said. Let me know your thoughts because I've run out of things to say. I've run out of talking points. Let me know your thoughts about the game. Let me know if there's anything you want us to discuss. But yeah, that is basically my own view on the game because I felt like we were good today, and we showed a lot of room, a lot of positive things today. That's how I felt. Like, let me even show you guys the stats. Let me show you guys the stats. So if you look at the stats, let me zoom in. If you look at the stats, today we went outplayed by PSG. Shots 12, 13. Shots on target 5, 3. Do you get what I'm saying? Possession, they absolutely destroyed us. Especially but today we didn't come here to have possession. We came here for this. Pass accuracy, very poor. Because they have better technical players than us. Chelsea is the best team in the world and London, officially. No more talks. In the world, no. Based on the Club World Cup, yes. On paper, yes. But we will see this season. Because I think that Chelsea have improved a lot. But in London, without a doubt, best team in London. But in the world, I think that this season will show us. If you win the league, then possibly it is. They are the best team in the world currently. Passes. If you look at passes, they killed us in that as well. Fouls were quite even. Yellow cards 2, 3, red card 0, offsides 4. We had 4 offsides. Corners 7, 2. Do you get what I'm saying? So when outplayed by PSG, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm so optimistic and I'm not as devastated as a lot of people are. Because, bro, you're telling me this man went into this team with Ange Postecoglou, went into this game against PSG with only Yao Polinia that is barely fit. That's barely fit. We saw how bad he was against hey Shanta, how you doing? We saw how bad Polina was against Bayern. So a Polina that was barely fit and a Kudus, and we went toe to toe. We took PSG to extra time with this team, with likes of Richarlison in our front line, with likes of Jet Spence, who is not in our starting lineup at left back, with no creative midfielder. All our creative midfielders are out injured, so no options on the bench. Let me show you what we had on the bench today. Let me show you guys what we had on the bench. Look at their bench. Fabian Ruiz, who is a starter for them normally, by the way. But because they knew that we're going to play a low block, they started with Due midfield. Where is it? Yeah, Due played in midfield because they knew we're going to come with a low block. Gonçalo Ramos, Likani. I don't know who this guy is. I think I've heard of him. Lucas Hernandez is a left back / center back, I think. Let me check. Which one is this? This is the left back. Yeah, left back / center back. Yeah. This is the brother. I don't know these other guys. But look at, okay, 1, 2. I think he starts for us. He probably starts for us on the left wing. Honestly, I think he genuinely starts for us on the left wing. No, starts for us. At least today, definitely starts for us. Lucas Hernandez. He starts for us, definitely. So yeah. Then look at our one bench. Matistel, who I think has a lot of room to improve. Achigre didn't really show me too much last season when he played in midfield. Lucas Bergvall, still a kid, just coming back from injury. Lots of room to improve. This guy played very well before his injury. Since he had his injury, any small thing is falling down on the floor. I don't know why, because when he first came, he was quite strong. This guy, I don't even want to talk about him. You guys already know my thoughts on him. Odebe, decent player, has potential, but no end product, and sometimes can be too lax on the ball. Ben Davies shouldn't even be at Tottenham Hotspur. Next, Vuskovic is probably going to go out on loan, still young. I don't even know who this is. This guy, he played well when he played for us, Brandon Austin, but a lot of I remember the preseason game where I think it was this preseason where he was meant to catch a ball and he spilled it. That would explain why he's third choice. That's all I'm going to say. Kinski, very good with his feet, but as a goalkeeper, Not so much, in my humble opinion. We need depth, man. Tell Gray, Sholanke, just not it. Honestly, that's the thing. Like Shanta, honestly, I didn't feel like we're bad today. I just felt like subs were the difference today, or was the difference today. Let me show you. Let's check timeline. So let's check the timeline. So today you had Gonzalo Ramos, who was a sub, assisted by Dembele. You had Likani from the bench, assisted by Vitinha. That today, that today was the difference between the two teams. Because us, while we're bringing in Matisse and Co, they are bringing in Fabian Ruiz, they're bringing in Ramos, they're bringing in Likani. The difference is that Bakola is usually the one on the bench. So this guy here, Seth, this guy here, that was destroying Danzo and then Pedro Porro on this side, Bakola is usually on the bench for them. That was the difference between the two teams today. Even though our first team is not as good as their own, I think our manager did a bloody good job today. Spence impressed me today. I'll play Spence over Udogie. He earned it, and he's grown so much in the left back position. You know the thing? Sometimes I feel like when Udogie isn't playing well, or wasn't playing well, and still kept him in the side. But to say that he would start every week over Udogie, no. And I say that because I felt that way last year, and then I watched Udogie on or during our Europa League run when he came back from injury, and I was just like, wow, what a player. And I think because of Ange, we've sort of forgotten how good Udogie is or was. Like I remember when he first came to Tottenham and the first few games were like, wow, this guy is like one of the best left backs in the league at that point in time. Because Udogie is strong. Udogie is like 6 feet tall. He's strong, he's fast, he's tall, like everything he had or he has to be a good player. And I think that under a coach like Thomas, he's going to go up a level or levels. Honestly, he's going to go up levels. And Udogie is a wing back. And I think that from what we saw in preseason, we saw Udogie being able to bomb. And then when we played a back four, it turned into this. And Pedro Porro was creating from far with his passing range. That's what we saw in preseason. So I think that Udogie is going to be playing in like how he wants to play or how he likes to play. That's bombing down here, which would make Savio be able to take in these positions as an inside forward. Kudus as well will be able to take in these positions as an inside forward. So yeah, I think that will really elevate Udogie's game. Remember, I told you Savinio and AD deals seem too good to be true. Yeah, you did say so. City need around 60 million plus add-ons. AD will be 68 million. No updates on this yet. I just know Spurs go for cheaper options. I just know. Honestly, yeah. Let me tell you, yeah. So I don't know too much about like foreign currency. So what I saw was that we bid 50 million euros. So let me show you. This is what I said today. Yeah. When I saw, yeah, you see, it's even coming out on my laptop already because I searched it. Oh, okay. Oh, you guys can't see when I'm searching something. But yeah, I searched for 50 million euros to pounds because I didn't know you people's like foreign currency too much. And I saw 43 million pounds. Then I now checked for what they were asking for, which is 70 million euros. That's 60 million pounds. So you're telling me we bid 43 million pounds and they're asking for 60 million pounds. So there is a 17 million pound difference in valuation. That is worrying, in my humble opinion. That is incredibly worrying. And alarm bell started to ring because I'm like, if it was like we bid 55 million and they're asking for 60 million, you know it will get done. But 43 million to 60 million is a very huge gap. So I don't know. Fab said he feels that the deal is going to get done. But I don't know. Like, I feel like that is an incredibly huge gap. On the Eze front, I've said it. I think that guy wants Arsenal. And the only way we'll be able to get him is if we drop the money. If we don't drop the money, we won't get it. But yeah, hello everyone that's new here. I can see there are a couple people watching. Please leave a like, please subscribe, turn on post notifications, and please try to chat. Let's get to know each other. Let me know your thoughts. I want to know what's inside your head. I do want to know what's inside your head. The difference between the two teams today was they spend on quality. We dropped 50 million on a player like Tel. Exactly. It's just the same old story, man. We really can't go anywhere with this current squad. Exactly. And I think that Thomas Frank knows that. Thomas Frank had Tony, Wissa, Mbuemo at Brentford. I'm telling you guys, before Kudus' arrival, Tony, Wissa, Mbuemo walk into Tottenham as our front three. Considering the son that we had, Wissa, let me show you guys. Let me show you. Instead of talking, I will just show you. Instead of talking, I will just show you. Show, don't tell. Yeah? Let me show you guys. Wissa last season. No, this Pino. Why is this taking so much time to load? Yeah. Okay. So Wissa last season scored 20 goals. 20 goals, 4 assists in 39 games. Definitely walks into our team. He strolls into it. Let me show you. Mbuemo. Last season, 20 goals, 8 assists. Walks into our 11. And this is what Thomas Frank had at Brentford. Tony, we know, walks into this team as our 9. Walks in. Eze walks in. Like, a lot of players walk into this lineup. And I think that Thomas Frank is so clear. Like, he's not even having it. He's not having it. He has come into this team, and there's already talk of us revamping the whole lineup. Like, Fabrizio had come out to say, if Richarlison leaves, we're going to go for Nicholas Jackson. Kudus has already come in. We're being linked to Savinho. Do you get what I'm saying? We're changing everything in that lineup because he knows it's not good enough. He knows it's not good enough. And this is what one manager in Postecoglou signed. This is what he signed. Come on. I thank him for the Europa League. Honestly, what he did to this club, player-wise, for that I can't forgive him. I thank him and I'm very grateful to him for the Europa League. And I will forever cherish that. I will forever respect him for that. But I can't forgive him for bringing in the likes of Brennan Johnson and Sholanke to this team. I can't forgive him for that. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. I just know we'll sign El Canus, and that will be it. I told you, Shanta, if we sign El Canus, like if we don't like sign quality, I've told you I don't think I'm going to watch Spurs. I'm not. You can't find me on your Insta. So I deleted my Insta. Like when I had over 300 subs and I deleted my channel, I also deleted my channel's Insta. So you can only find me here, which is why you should like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. So yeah. So yeah, if we sign El Canus, I'm not going to be watching Spurs. I'm going to watch other clubs for the good of my mental health, but I'm not going to watch Spurs because what I went through last season under Ange, I can't go through it again. I can't. I can't. The difference in valuation is because Savinho is quality. It's not another tale. You have to spend to get quality, man. We just won't get it. Let me tell you, yeah. If we can spend 10 million euros on loan, for this guy. Let me show you. You know what? Let me do this. Matisse. No, Ebireth. Let me show you guys. Look at this. It's all red. It's all red. That's all you see is red, 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 red. And let me show you. That's what we spent. We spent 10 million for loan alone. This club will never cease to amaze me. And this is what we're going for. Look, if we can spend 50 million euros on Matisse, we should spend 1 billion on Savio. If we can spend 60 million pounds, British pounds, on Richarlison, why can't we spend 60 million British pounds on Savio? Why can't we spend, if we can spend 65 million record signing on Solanke, why can't we spend 60 million pounds on Savio? Savio is 21. Savio actually has ability. Savio actually has potential. You know, like all this rubbish that we've been signing. He actually does have potential. He's not like a Brian Hill. He actually does have potential and ability and physicality. He can play in the league. He's coming from Manchester City. Manchester City signed him because they thought he was good enough for Manchester City. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? These guys have won a treble. It doesn't get much better than that. If Levy doesn't sign Eze and Savinho, he will have protests coming his way. I swear, man. I don't know what the owners of this club are on right now. Why can't they see what every single fan can see? I don't think it's even just about every single fan. And that's the thing. That's the reason why, little by little, I'm falling in love with Frank. No homo. Because I feel like what we're seeing, he is seeing. Do you get what I'm saying? What we're seeing with our eyes, he is seeing. And like, that is very encouraging. It's very encouraging. That's very encouraging. On the pretest, I think that whether or not we sign Eze and Savinho, there should still be protests. And I say this because the protest isn't about this transfer window. The protest is about over 20 years of mediocrity. In over 20 years, this ownership has won 2 trophies. Now, I get it. Some people might say, oh, what if we won the Super Cup? If we won the Super Cup and we signed Eze and Savio, everything is good. We just won this Europa League how many months ago and whatever. But it's not about how many months ago. It's not about 3 months ago. It's not about 5 months ago. It's about last year. We signed Archie Gray for 40. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, my head. We signed Archie Gray for 40 million pounds. We signed Archie Gray. I need to repeat it again. We signed Archie Gray for 40 million pounds from Leeds, from the Championship. A player that hadn't even played in midfield. He hadn't played in midfield in the position that everybody is talking about. He plays in that position. He had not played in that position. We signed for 40 million pounds. 40 million, and you're telling me you can't spend 60 million pounds on. I need to go to Tottenham because it's personal. I need to go to England to go and meet Levy and have a conversation with him because it's personal. If you can sign Archie Gray for 40 million from Championship and you can't sign Savio for Man City for 60 million, you are a goat. You are a sheep. And that's me not wanting to see anything bad. You are a goat. You are an absolute goat for that. But yes, we signed Archie Gray for 40 million pounds. We signed Solanke for 65 million pounds. We signed, who else did we sign again? Let me check our signings last year because our signings were absolutely Tottenham Hotspur signings. I can't even remember the signings we signed because they are that on memory. On memory. Let me check the players we signed last year. I shall know that out of all the signings we made, the only first team player that we brought in, last year was this guy. We signed Odobe. We signed Bergvall. We signed Kinski in January. We signed Matisse in January. We signed Young. We signed Danzo. That was all. And out of all these players, out of all these signings, only one walks into the starting 11. Only one. Only one walked into the starting 11. Those are the actions that put us in this position that we are in today. actions like that are what put us in this position that we're in today. You can't find me on Insta. Yeah. So like I said, my Insta, and the thing is, my IG got hacked as well. I don't know why. The person just hacked it and dumped it. So my IG got hacked, and my new IG is just there for like my close friends, really. Like those are the only people I follow on it. And it's like I'm not trying to build another Instagram account again, because I think on that one I had like over 1,000 followers, and then trying to build another social media account is quite exhausting. Yeah, I don't know. Although I have to say, if we had Ange, we wouldn't get touched in today's game. We wouldn't get touched. We would get touched. Oh, we would get touched. Frank kept us structured and we were really good. Bro, we took them to penalties. If that doesn't show that this manager has something about him, considering the quality of our team, if that doesn't show you that this manager has something about him, nothing in this world will. We took them to pens. We took this PSG side to pens. We took them to pens. I don't think any player in our lineup gets into their team. None. Maybe Kudus. Maybe Kudus. But Kudus is even a right winger. So maybe Kudus over Bakola. That's all. That's all. And we took them to pens. That's very good in my opinion. I smell protest by the end of next week if we don't get Savio and Eze Bomba. Trust. I pray there's a protest every week. If that's what's going to get them to sign players of quality. And that's the thing. The thing about the Matisse signing is, as much as I blame Ange for certain things. Yeah. I think that when Ange left, or when Kane left, sorry, Ange would have been given like autonomy and said, oh, who do you want to replace Harry Kane? We understand that we're sort of leaving you in whatever. And the player that Ange went for to replace Harry Kane was Brennan Johnson. Something like that now I blame Ange for. But things like Matistel, I don't blame Ange for. I blame Johan Lange, I blame Levy, and all these people. Because it's the scouting team's responsibility to find out that a player is not physically ready to compete in the Premier League. If we had gone out there and signed this guy, and let me show you. This is a player that I found on Football Manager, by the way. Let me show you this guy. And I was talking about him a few days ago. Let me show you. He's a kid. He's 21. He plays for which team? PSV as outcomer. Now, look at his stats. Nothing impressive. Nothing phenomenal. Last season, he had 10 goals, 6 assists. This season, he hasn't really done much. Granted, no problem. But let me show you something. No, not this fanbom. Sorry. These are his stats. You can see that there is something to work with here. And I showed you guys Matistel. You can see that there is a player in this kid here. There is potential here. There is something to work with here. And he gives you something defensively as well. There is something to work with. But in Matistel, when you're going out there, and what's this? Let me show you why signing Matistel really pisses me off. Because now, if you look at his market value, what's this? 8.4 million euros. But when you're going out there spending 40 million on Archie, spending 50 million on Matistel, it pisses me off. Let me show you another player. We tried to sign Gibbs White. The reason why we tried to sign Gibbs White is because we needed a player that would give us something defensively and also passing. When you see players like this, these guys had AC Milan had a horrible season. Go to AC Milan and sign Benacer. Look at his passing ability. It's just green bars. It's just green bars. Look. This is a midfielder. You can use this guy as our number 8. And let me show you again why these things. When you're signing at Chigre, you're oh my God, my head. God, it really pisses me off. Jesus Christ. Look at his market value. Look at his market value. 15.9 million. Okay, highlighting it so you guys can really see it. 15.9 million. Let me zoom in. That's his market value. And this is the player that walks into our 11 as the 8. When you're spending money foolishly, it's very annoying. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. Hello, the fact that I know what's going to happen with this transfer window is funny. Markman was testing. Xavi and Eze die down by the end of the week. And we get one cheap player. Not even 2. It's criminal, man. Honestly, I told you. See, I think I don't even know where to go from here if we don't sign a Savio or an Eze. Because if you're telling me that next season, okay, let's try and build a potential lineup for next season. So for Burnley now, let's try and build the Burnley lineup. Let's do this. So we have Jet Spence here. We have Paulinia and this guy. Currently, we have no creative midfielder, and it looks like the manager is going to play Berich. Sorry, why am I having the Berich in my head? Pape Matassa. Sorry, not this. This is my last. Pape Matassa. We're going to have Kudus. We're going to have. It looks like Richarlison. And I think this might be Wilson Odobe. If you're telling me that next season, and let's check our fixtures. Yeah, let's check our fixtures. So in the first few games, we're playing Burnley, then we're going to City, Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton, Wolves. And you're telling me we're going to play City, a defensively solid Burnley, by the way. That's one thing that they know how to do. This new Burnley side under, I think, Scott Parker, they know how to defend. Like if you check, I think we're being linked to one of their defenders. I don't know if you guys remember this guy, Esteve. We're being linked to him. Like their defenders, top last season. Defensively, they were top. Wow. His stats defensively aren't even that much because he didn't have to do that much defensively. But last season, they were very good. Like, let me check the table. Championship table. Yeah, last season. So you have Burnley, goals against 16 in 6 games. 16. So if there's one thing that this Burnley side under this manager knows how to do, is they know how to defend. And if you're telling me that they're conceding 16 goals in 46 games, I don't care what league you're in, I don't care what team you're in, that is very good, in my opinion. So let's go back. We're going to play a defensively sound Burnley, City, Bournemouth, West Ham that are going to be looking to bounce back. And is West Ham away? My God. West Ham away, their cup final. Let me remove Shanta's comment so you guys are able to see this thing properly. Brighton and Wolves with this lineup. I don't know where we go from it. Honestly, I don't know where we go from it. If we don't sign Eze and Savio Shanta, I mean, I still start following United. I'll just start watching United games next season because I mean they're more exciting than us. There are lots of new players in their team, and I'm telling you, as quickly like they think that there's this saying, I can't remember where I read it, and the saying is it goes like if a lady will cheat on you, will cheat with you, or cheat on her boyfriend with you, what makes you think that she won't cheat on you with another guy? What makes you think you're special? And that scenario, or that's whatever quote or whatever, is the case with this guy. See this guy. Let me tell you here. You see how quickly he was willing to run away from West Ham and like not like cut all ties with West Ham. If Tottenham Hotspur don't show ambition the same way he did to West Ham, is the exact same thing this guy right here is going to do to us. I can assure you. I can assure you. The exact same thing he's going to do to us. I assure you. So yeah, he will. Kudus and Bentancur were quality today. Pearl was a bit off. Yeah. Pearl was a bit off. Romero and Van de Ven were all right. Sorry guys, that was my dad. Kudus and Bentancur were quality today. Pearl was a bit off. Romero and Van de Ven were all right. That's what was also great too, but God dribbled a lot. That's the thing. See, yeah. I think Kudus was good. I think Bentancur was good. I think the midfield three were very good. I think Jet Spence was solid. I think Kudus was good. But Pearl, it was okay. But him and Danso struggled against Bakula. And that's the thing about PSG. That's why, like, the reason why I'm not really, like, fuming about the fact that they were struggling is because these players are very good players. Like, there was a point where Bakula was being linked to Liverpool as their left winger. He's that good. Like, that's the quality of player that we're talking about. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, they are of a certain caliber, of a certain quality. And it's like, players like this, it's very hard to take them on. Like, and it's not even just about that, it's that their team, they have Due on the pitch. Luckily for us, Due was playing in midfield today, so he couldn't really like attack us today. But they have Due, they have Kvicha, they have Dembus, they have Bakola. Which one do you mark? If you want to try and double mark somebody, which one? Because if you do that, they give this one the ball, it's another problem. You give this one the ball, is another problem. You give this one the ball, is another problem. And these two goats too, they're always bombing forward. So who do you want to mark? So that's why, like, I sort of will give them some leeway today, because the quality of this PSG side compared to our own, like, compared to any team, we saw what they did to Real Madrid. We saw what they've done to Inter Milan. We've seen how they've dispatched a lot of teams. And like, compared to a lot of teams, like even Arsenal, we saw what they did to Arsenal. We've seen what Arsenal has done to us. Like, let me show you Tottenham versus Arsenal in recent years. Let me show you, because we saw what they did to Arsenal in recent times. They've really destroyed us. I can't even find recent results. I don't know. No, how I'll be able to find it. I think I will have to check FPL, and I don't have an FPL account here. But yeah, like, we saw what they did to Arsenal. So against any team, talk less of a Tottenham Hotspur side that finished 17th in the league, that are without Madison, that are without Son, that are without Kulusevski. Come on, it's going to be difficult for anybody. Udogi, very difficult against anybody. We can't always rely on wing backs and play 3 CBs. There was zero creativity today. Flipping set piece hotspots. I don't know where the goals are coming from now. We can't rely on CBs to score every time. Okay, I will dissect this. Firstly, we spoke about this yesterday, Shanta, and I've told you, in my opinion, I think that while if Tottenham Hotspur don't sign a creative midfielder, we're going to have to play a back three, whether anybody likes it or not. Because I'm telling you guys now, the creativity from this midfield with the likes of these three is zero. And I will be blunt with you, it is zero. So we have to find somewhere else to create from. So this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to be creating. Sarri is going to play maybe more advanced, and this is how we're going to be getting goals until we sign a creative midfielder. Because if you're thinking that these three will create for you, you're on a long team. They can't do it to save their lives. This is our major source of creativity. And this guy, this right hand side, until we sign a Savio, until we sign an Easy. That's the first thing. So, except this board is willing to back this manager, we're going to keep on having zero creativity. Now, let's even say there's a scenario where we sign Savio and Easy. And that's the thing. That this squad that Ange has built has so much flaws. It makes me wonder what he did when he was here, signing wise. But let me show you guys what I'm talking about, so you understand how much shit we're in as a team. Let me show you. Let me show you guys. So let's even say we live in this imaginary world. We live in this imaginary world where we sign Eze, we sign Savinho. If this guy has never really had any prolific goal scoring season. This one too, not really. Eze, let's check. Let's check Eze. His highest goal scoring season is what? His highest goal scoring season is 14, which was last season. Wow, this is match rating for the Community Shield. Crazy. 14 goals, 12 assists. So his highest goal scoring season is 14 goals. It's 14 goals. So you're telling me, I think Savio, we have 14 goals with Savio. His highest goal scoring season is what? 11 goals. With Kudus, his highest goal scoring season is what? 15? No, 18 at Ajax in 42 games. 18. Okay, that's not bad. Richarlison, his highest goal scoring season is what? His highest goal scoring season is 15 in 2019-2020 season. We're finished though. We're finished. Because how we're going to score goals, I'm telling you guys, only the good Lord in heaven knows how we're going to score goals next season. Richarlison's highest goal scoring season is 15. And that's who's going to be our number 9. Okay, let's even say Solanke. Let's even say Solanke. Let me show you guys. So even if we sign Eze, we sign Savio, that number 9 position is still a problem. We signed, okay, let's even say we sign Solanke. His highest goal scoring season is 30 in the Championship. In the Premier League, it is 21. 21 goals. But it's only one season that he has done that. And I don't think that he's the most clinical striker either. I don't know, honestly. Right now, it looks very bad. And that's why whenever some people are like, oh, why are they protesting? Why are they protesting? I don't understand it. Because, yeah, you say, oh, if we sign Eze, if we sign Savio, but we're meant to have signed these players since. When did Liverpool sign Vets? When Liverpool sign Kekesh? When they sign Frimpong? When they sign Ekitike? When? When did Man City sign Czechia and Co? When you're a serious club, you're a serious club, man. So don't come here and tell me that they should not protest. How much will Kudus do single-handedly? It's just so stupid to think we're heading into this season with this team. I'm fuming, man. I can't even be angry because I'm just defeated. The only thing I can say is that, let me show you. Let me show you guys. Tottenham's fixtures. Let me show you guys. The only thing I can say is that we've played Arsenal, We played Newcastle, we played Bayern, and we played PSG. Majority of the Premier League is not going to be that strong. Do you get what I'm saying? So we're not going to look as bad or as stifled attacking wise as we have, because it's not every week that are going to face us now. It's not every week that are going to face Newcastle. It's not every week that are going to face a team of the quality of Bayern or PSG. So it might not look as bad. So Kudus might be able to do much more than he's doing in these games because we're going to be playing lesser opponents. That's all I can say. As for the fuming part, I think that I think last season I accepted it, and I accepted Tottenham for what he was and realized that I was letting myself get too emotional over something that I could not control. So now I don't even think that I can get like stressed about it like I was getting last season. I don't think there's anything worse or anything like it doesn't really matter what happens this season, even if you finish 10th, it can't be as bad as last season. It can't. And I'm at the point where if I could go through that last season, I can go through anything. I believe so. So I don't think, and you guys too. If you could go through that last season, you can go through anything. So like I'm not even angry about it. I just want to see what they do, and if they do what encourages me to want to watch the game, then I will watch. Maybe I will still watch just because of my channel, Spurs games, but I just will not be as emotionally invested as I would be assuming we were to sign better players. But yeah, I have to protect myself, and you guys should do the same. Honestly, that's what I think. LMAO, don't give me hopes, Tesla. I don't want to hope that we sign Savio and Eze at all. I'm starting to watch. I'm not start, or I'm going to start watching Bayern from now on. I guess. I guess that's what you mean. And at least I'll get to watch Kane play. Hello. I'm not going to give. See, I'm not here to give you hope. I told you already that the gap in valuation is 17 million. 17 million is not 5 million. That's a lot of money. I don't know how we resolve that issue, but right now, to me, the Savio deal looks unlikely, very unlikely. Then on the Eze front, I think he wants Arsenal, and if we sign him today, if we sign him now, then he comes. But if we delay and Arsenal sell and Arsenal get money, then he goes. Hello, Care. Yeah, I think it's Care. Nice to meet you. Hello, it's nice to see you here. I'm guessing you're new here. Okay, I'm coming. I'll get to your comments, Care. Let me first answer Shanta. For Cholanke to be clinical, we have to play 4-3-3 with a creative calm. I don't think he has ever been clinical in his career. That's the thing. Like, I think that sometimes I wonder if I'm the problem. I wonder if I'm the problem because let me explain why I wonder if I'm the problem. For years, I was watching Son and Kane, and there were certain chances that they would have, and I'm like, yeah, this is a goal. Like before they even shoot, like once Son is strong goal or Kane is strong goal, you know it's a goal. And now I watch our attackers, and they are through on goal 1-on-1, and I can't tell you that anybody in that lineup will score. If anything, the person that I'm most confident in scoring is Van de Ven. And that's funny because you don't even see him shoot often. But I think he has a football brain. And if he's in front of goal, he knows what to do. So, like, this clinical is not even a word that I can associate with any of our players. Then you said we have to play 4-3-3 with a creative, calm, and a better left winger we can play and create provide. Solanke is not a player who can play in the system we play today. I think that him and Richarlison are the same thing. They are create five, score one type of strikers, or create 5, 6, 7, score one, score two type of strikers. They are not beasts where like their finishing is top. They're not. And I don't think too many people are, which is why you're hearing 150 million for Isak, because this is somebody that can put the ball at the back of the net, and they know how rare that is in this current market. So yeah, like I don't think any of our strikers are clinical in my opinion, and I don't think that as per Solanke is not a player that can play in the kind of system we play today. I think I would tackle you on this, Chantal, and I would say when he played at Bournemouth, and let me confirm, I think that Bournemouth, if you think back to Bournemouth, they for many years played in either a transitional side, majority of the time a transitional side, and that is what we were today. So would you really say that he can't play in a transitional side when for many years that is what he has done? Do you get what I'm saying? Like in Bournemouth, that is what he was doing. And I want to check his ball carrying stats, which is what I would expect exactly. So you can see some greens here. And that's where, like, if you check over the years, we should see some greens in his ball carrying stats. Because I don't know about under Iraola. This is the year under Iraola, so that was less. They just told him to stay up front and score goals. But majority of the time, I don't know the season that okay, Premier League, they were in this season, this Premier League. But we should see good things in his ball carrying stats here for a Bournemouth side. So I think he can. I think he can, because that's what we're doing this night. That's what we did this night. Yeah, I think he can, because that's what he did at Bournemouth. Majority of his career at Bournemouth, he was ball carrying. So I think he can. Transition, that's what he did. I think he can. So yeah, I will tackle you on that, Shanta. Let me know your thoughts on what I just said. Sa was very good. Care, I agree with you 100.1%. Sa was really good. Paulina was really good. And Bentancur was also really good. Romero, I didn't see him too much. Danso struggled a bit. Van de Ven was decent. Spence, very good. Richarlison, he was Richarlison. He tried. That's all you can say. Kudus was quite good. And I think he fared well and gave a very, very good account of himself against a quality player like Nuno Mendes. So yeah, I'm still not sure why we have Solanke at the club. Well, he's our record signing, so I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Sadly, but hopefully under Thomas Frank, let me know you guys' thoughts. Care Sanchez, hello, Dirty Sanchez, welcome. This is my first time seeing you here. Shanta, Care Sanchez, I don't know, Azar, Emmanuel, Daqueris. I missed that actually. Daqueris, Tottenham for life. I don't know if you guys are still here, but if you are, I have a question for everybody. Would you take Jackson over our strikers? Would you take Jackson over Solanke and Richarlison? Who would you rather have out of the three? Who would you guys rather have out of the three? So Kier said 100%. He would have Jackson. I think I would have Jackson as well. Like, that's the thing. Like, our strikers are so bad. I would have Jackson. I would. Let me see. I think Richarlison was good today, but he just needs more. Bro, Shanta, for years now, since let me check. Let's check. When did this thing doesn't show when I'm typing? That's crazy. When did Richarlison sign for Spurs? 2022. So you're telling me that Richarlison has been here for, let's check, for how many seasons now? Like 3 seasons or 4 seasons? 4. This is his 4th season. Look at his average rating. This season was his best season because he went on that stupid goal scoring run that he went on. Oh, we're calling him R9. This season was his best season. Look at his average rating. This is a 60 million pound player. And Shanta, you're really coming here to tell me that he needs more composure to get back to his full potential. There's no amount of composure that you want to give this guy. He just doesn't have the ability. I'm telling you. Jenin does. I don't believe in him. I don't. He gives effort, but that's it. As a top 6 team, I don't know how people can look at players we have and be happy. I strongly believe half of them are not ready. I don't even think that is that they're not ready. That's the thing. Like, that's why sometimes I feel bad, like, talking bad about other players. We got Brennan Johnson. We knew Brennan Johnson couldn't take on a man. We got Brennan Johnson to take on a man. How? Richarlison, he tries. He just does not have the ability. He tries. Do you get what I'm saying? But he just doesn't have it. How can you fault somebody for something like that? Like, how can you fault somebody for something like that? You can't fault him. You can't fault them because they just cannot do it. They just can't. Like, it's like, if you even wanted to complain, where do you start from? He just can't do it. Like, he can't. It's like telling me to sing. I just can't do it. I can try and put in effort, and you can see I'm trying, but I just can't do it. I just can't. I can't. Like, I'm like 5'5". I'm 5'5". But like, when it comes to physical stuff, like running, football, I'm very good physically. So I can do running, I can do all these other things. But if you tell me to play basketball, I can't do it. I just can't. I don't have it in my locker. It's not like I won't try. I will, but I can't. I can't. I can run, and I will probably beat a reasonable amount of people on this planet if it comes to sprinting, 100 meters and whatever. But if you tell me to play basketball, no, I can't do that. So yeah, because of Abomot, he had Clivert, Semenyo to provide and feed him those balls. Most of his goals were closer to the goals, shots and tappings. We don't have Semenyo or Clivert. All I'm going to say is, if there's one thing that I have noticed about Solanke, and even when we signed him, and that's how I thought Andrew was going to use him, is that if you get balls in the box, no homo, or pause. If you get the ball into the box, his reactions are very good, like very, very quick. His reactions are very, very quick. And all these second balls in the box, like zero ricochets or something like that. Or what they call them? Is it ricochets? I think it's ricochets. Is it ricochet? Yeah, rebounds. Sorry, rebounds. Rebounds. Like, he's very good at like getting the rebounds. That's one thing. Decent effort. Dirty Sanchez. What were you talking about? Oh wait, what do you mean by decent effort? What were you talking about? And nice to meet you, by the way. It's nice to have you here. What were you talking about? I don't understand. 100%. Yeah, you would have Jackson over our strikers. They're just not good enough. They're just not good enough. They're just not good enough. 100%. I agree with you. Sorry, I'm having network issues. He has faster feet than both and more pace. I agree with you. The thing about Jackson is, if you tell Jackson can do everything aside from putting the ball inside the net and winning aerial duels. He can't do that. He can't do that. If you tell Jackson to try to score goals for you, he can't do it. But the thing is, if we're buying if we're buying players like Savio, who I think can't finish, by the way, and I'm still of this opinion. I hope he proves me wrong at Tottenham Hotspur. I hope, I pray so. I want to see all the players at our club do well. But from what I've seen at City, he can't finish. If we're taking a point on a Savio, if we're taking a point on a Kudus, why not take a point on Jackson and trust Thomas Frank? If Thomas Frank thinks that he can coach this player into a finisher, he can coach finishing into him the same way he did with Mbeumo. Let's even check, because a lot of people talk about how he developed Mbeumo. Let's see how much Mbeumo developed over the years. Let's see. So in his first year at Brentford, he had, in the AFL, he had 0 goals. No, in the AFL, he had 16 goals. Wow, that's incredibly impressive. So they signed him after 2 games that season, and he has scored 1. So he got 1 goal, 0 assists. So the remaining 16 goals, 7 assists was in his first season at Brentford. Wow. That looks like somebody that could already finish in my own eyes. That's just me. Then in his next season, he had 8 goals, 11 assists. A huge drop-off. Half the goals. Maybe that was a fluke season. Then he had 8 goals, 7 assists. 9 goals, 8 assists. 9 goals, 6 assists. Then he went to 20 goals. And I heard in this season, here, he was the player who hit the post the most. Him after Darwin Nunez or something crazy like that. He had this very crazy stat. But yeah, so if you can do this with Mbeumo, let's check Jackson. And he's still very young, by the way. He's 24. He's 24. And he presses. He presses. He work hard for the team. Jackson, let me show you. Jackson in a transitional Villarreal side, 13 goals, 5 assists. 17 goals, 6 assists. 13 goals, 15 assists. Can you imagine? And everybody's saying Jackson is bad. And this is a Jackson that can't finish. This is a Jackson that can't finish. And I'm not going to come here and say he doesn't miss chances. He does, but he creates a reasonable amount of them for himself. Do you get what I'm saying? He creates chances for himself. Like, you can see that even though he's scoring goals, his match rating isn't still the best. Which means that he's missing incredible levels of chances. But he's still getting goals and he keeps on getting in those positions. And under Thomas Frank, if he can do that for Mbeumo, and Jackson already has consistently in the last 3 seasons over 10 goals, why can't he do it for Jackson, who has everything else? I don't know. I'd rather have him over Richarlison. At least he can hold up the ball and carry the ball for me. For his valuation, no. I would rather get someone else at 10. I would have Jackson if it was maybe around 60 million. Oh, you mean Jackson? Jackson over our strikers. You said so for his valuation? No. So they value him around 80 million. Here on SofaScore, it says he's worth 49 million. Let's check transfer market. Let's check transfer market. He's valued at 50 million euros. 50 million euros is £2. 43 million pounds. Yeah. So that's his value. But Chelsea are valuing him at 80 million euros or 80 million pounds. Which one? Let me check. Let's check. Chelsea value Jackson at 80 million. Let me try to check. £80 million. Oh my god, very funny. Yeah, max 50, 60. 50, 60. Yeah, I agree with you, Shanta. 50, 60. Yeah, they're joking. It's just bargaining. They know they're joking. Um, Imagine if we had a forward like John Duran. Care, you know how to make me sad. Like, you know how, like, I don't know if you had this moment against Bayern where watching them, like, there was this move when PSG had their first shot where they just pass, and Kvaratskhelia had this shot that was off target. And that moment just made me sad because you look at, and I know comparison is the thief of joy, or what do they say? But you just look at what other people have, and you look at your team. Like Aunase could be lining up with. Let me create Aunase's lineup here. No, not the Brazilian Ronaldo. What's going on? Oh, is my network? Aunase, they have Ronaldo. They want to get Coman. It's my network that's bad. Okay. They have, I think they have John Duran. And they have, no, they sold John Duran. They have Manny. And they got Felix. This is our Nasser's front four. And they play in the Saudi League. We saw what Coman did to us against when Bayern played us. So it's not like he's a bad player. Like, honestly, it just makes me sad. It breaks my heart. With a forward like John Duran, I don't know what to say. True say, I think we're better putting Johnson as a false nine. You know the thing about Johnson? Johnson is genuinely so bad. Yeah. And when I say so bad, I mean, I don't even think this guy knows how to hold up the ball. That's my problem with the Brandon Johnson. I don't think Johnson knows how to hold up the ball. Johnson doesn't know how to hold up the ball. So if you even like give the ball to him, and that was also my problem with using Son at 9, is that if you put Son as 9, Son hold up the ball and link up, like hold up defenders. And this is not to disrespect somebody. He's an absolute legend of the club and all that. He has done a lot of good stuff for us. But when he plays as a 9 and he plays like against the low block, fine, he will do well. He can do a job. When defenders are not being physical with him, when he's facing defenders like this, like he's running towards defenders. But if you're telling him to stay here and hold up defenders and try to link up and whatever, he can't do it. And it's the same thing as Brennan. Brennan isn't strong enough to hold defenders. And let me tell you one thing. If there's one position that you need to be strong to play, and why that's my problem with Solanke. Oh my God, Solanke. And I don't know why he has been falling on the floor since he came. Because when he first came, he was very strong. But majority of the strongest players in football, the strongest players, play at centre back. Konate, Van Dijk, like the players that you see at CB, they are huge. Like, even look at Danso, look at Pacho today. They're so big. 6'4", 6'5", carrying themselves, brand weight. No, these guys, they're huge. So you can't tell me that somebody like that and that small Bernard Johnson, they will just destroy him. And if it was like a player with like flair and ability, like tricky flair and all this, you can even say like someone like a Messi now, because of he's so tricky. He can even play there. Dembele, because he's so tricky, he can play there. But a player like Brennan that can't even beat a man, he can't play 9. He can play 9 for Forest, or Wales. But for Tottenham Hotspur, week in, week out in the Premier League, against the likes of Van Dijk. If you even go to Brentford, against the likes of what's the name of this Brentford defender that they signed, that we're being linked to from Wolves? Is it Killman? Is it Killman? He's Killman. Is it Killman? No, Collins. Sorry, Collins. Against these guys, he's not going to be able to do it. He can't do it. Like, he can't. That's the thing. So look at what we signed. Look at what we signed. And we spent 47. I know the exact amount we spent on him. 47.5 million pounds. We got robbed. This guy is a 30 million player. And the 30 million is based on a system and using him in a specific way. God. Frank has a lot of work to do. Like, honestly, has a lot of work to do. Yeah, true. Johnson can't beat his man, nor hold up the ball. However, I do think his positioning in the box is elite. That's a strong shout. If we make Richarlison do the dirty work and make Johnson run and shoot. You know the thing? Like I said, I think in like a Forest, it might work. And I don't even think he might even work in a Forest, considering that they would also need him to do defensive work. In this Thomas Frank side, everybody has to defend. It's the same thing as PSG. If Johnson goes to PSG, let's even say he somehow snuck his way into the PSG squad, he wouldn't even play for PSG. The reason why Mbappe could still play for PSG is because Mbappe had so much ability. Everybody knew that without a doubt, he was the best player in the team. Which is why, even though he didn't do defensive work, he was still playing. Brennan Johnson doesn't have ability, and he still won't do defensive work. That's the problem. Now, goal scoring, I think that he has a knack for, and I think that this whole positioning thing in the box thing is a myth. And I say it's a myth because, let me show you what I'm talking about. He played well under Ange because he ran and he tapped the ball into the net from 2 yards out or 1 yard out. Yeah. And he had his most God, what's wrong with my speech today? Okay, that's even not his most prolific goal scoring season. It was actually in the championship with Forest. Interesting. But one of his most prolific goal scoring season in the Premier League, 18 goals. But if you check like where his goals are from, I don't know. I've never actually done this before, so this will be my first time. I see a lot of people using this in tactical videos, but let me try to see if I can find it. I don't know if it's possible to find this heat map. I don't know where these guys find these things from because I'm still new to a lot of these tools. So I don't know. I wish I could find this heat map. So I'll show you. Okay, this is heat map. If you look at this side, see this box side is very huge because a lot of the time when we had Werner and the likes, they are running and then they're crossing the ball back. And Brennan, because of his pace, is able to get there and just hit the ball in from 5 yards out or 2 yards out. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think that his position in the box is elite. If you look at, okay, if his position in the box is elite, when we played low blocks, why wasn't he scoring? Let's check his goals. Who did he score against? How do we check the people he scored against? There are lots of tools that we need to get to know. So yeah, can't I view like all the games? Okay, previous, yeah. Manchester United in the final. I don't even know if he touched that ball, but I will give it to him. I'll give it to him. Man United in that game didn't play a low block. Bodo Glimt. How did he score against Bodo Glimt? I can't even remember. A lot of my memory from that run is very skinny. Southampton. I can't remember. I can't remember how they played in that game. But let me check. Let me try and check the stats. They had 12 shots, so I don't necessarily think they sat back. I think this was the game that they got relegated. So they didn't sit back. I remember this game. We relegated them with this game, with this win. Yeah, they didn't sit back. They already knew they were going down. So they didn't sit back. All these games, 0-0-0 contributions, 0 contributions, 0 contributions. Ipswich, I think we caught them on the break as well. I remember this game. They didn't sit back. They didn't sit back at all. 41% possession. They didn't sit back. And I think we caught them on the break. And if you tell by their XG, they had decent level XG. And we massively overperformed our XG. Let me see. Where did we get our goals from? Let me see. No, I want to see Tottenham's goals. So one of Tottenham's goals was from here. This is probably the Brennan Johnson goal. At least one of them. He scored 2. You don't even need to tell me that this is one of the Brennan Johnson goals, but this is one of them. I'm 100.1% sure that's one of them. 100.1% sure. Oh, let me see. Wait. Okay. Let me see. Johnson can beat his man position. Okay, I've read that one already. Off topic. We are an underrated channel. Nice to hear someone talk sense. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Like I said, I deleted my channel and I'm trying to build it back up again. So I think I will with time, to be fair. I think I will with time. But thank you so much. That means a lot. I really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wait, let me check. Let me check for another one. Tam what? Tam. Oh my god, Tam what? I can't even remember where he scored his goal from. Let's check. Let's check statistics. Shotman. Tottenham was from. One of our goals was from here, one was from here, and I can't find the last one. But let me check another one. I will show you people. But this Brennan guy, he's a I know it seems like I have an agenda against him, but honestly, it's not even an agenda. He's just a case. It's genuinely just a case. Like, why did my screen stop sharing? I mistakenly closed it. Okay. I mistakenly closed it. Can you imagine? I've passed like the time that I meant to stream for, so I was on stop. But yeah, let me see. Look again. Look again. Okay, these ones are from outside the box actually. These ones are from outside the box. No, this is not. This is inside the box, but like close inside the box. Here. Okay, I'm not sharing it. I'm not sharing my tab. So these are where the shots are from. They're from like the goalkeeper's box, not the box, 18-yard box. The other one inside. So yeah, very close, very very close. Let me zoom in so you guys see it very well. Can you see it? Let me see. Yeah, you guys can see it better now. Yeah, these are where the shots are. Can you see what I'm saying? Like a lot of the shots are mostly tap-ins from inside the box. So I don't know if his like position is even that good. Because if his movement in the box was good, that is one thing that will set him apart against low blocks. Because even though he might not be able to beat a man, we were very gun-ho. So we would have used Pedro Porro outside and him as an inside forward, and then his movements inside the box would have stood out and we would have noticed it. Majority of his goals were tap-ins. That's the thing. Majority of his goals were tap-ins. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Does anybody have anything else they want to ask me before I go? Because it's 12 and I usually go for 2 hours. But I started late today because of the match. I was streaming the match on my tab. So I had to I was a bit later than others. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. That's all I have for you guys today. I'm here every day, 10 p.m. to 12. Sometimes it might not be to 12. Like it depends on like the comments. I think people that watch the show basically make the show in the sense that like if it's more interactive, then I have more things to talk about. But then if I'm just going on a tangent and then I run out of talking points, it's like, okay, I have nothing to talk about anymore and nobody's saying anything. So let's just end it there. But then if I have things to answer, like imagine we had a forward like John Duran or this or that or so and so, I think Brendan Johnson can play as a false nine. Then I go on longer tangents and then I go back to my talking points and then I have more things to talk about. JSY Talks Football. Hello. Nice to meet you, bro. Thank you very much for the sub, by the way. This is my first time seeing you here, so nice to meet you. Got there for Spurs, plays so well. Positive Spurs for the season ahead. Thank God somebody feels that way. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God somebody feels that way. And I thank God that I'm not the only one that watched that and felt like that. Like, I really feel optimistic for the season. And I feel like this manager, what he showed today, I know we lost, but what he showed today, we're building a really strong team. We're building a really strong team. And I feel like, I know, like I keep on saying, I love Son, but also the fact that like a character like Romero is our captain now. And I do have my problems with Romero, by the way, a lot of problems, which I will probably talk about another day. I have a lot of problems with Romero, but the fact that a player like Romero is our captain is sort of I just changed it to this tab because I realized that I was sharing free ads for these people. I don't even know you. You didn't pay me to share your ad, so I'm going to change it. But yeah, a player like Romero is like a certain like character that I think would handle the captaincy better. And it is something to build on. It is something to build on. And I think that you can tell a manager's personality and character from the way his team plays. Like if you look at Klopp under like if you look at Klopp's team is sort of an extension of his personality. Thomas Frank, sort of reserved, you pack the balls and whatever, and then you break on the counter, like slow poison type of team. That is what we're going to be. And I think that is Thomas Frank's character. And we've seen that with Bissouma. He might seem gentle, but he's deadly. He's wicked. And he has what it takes. Like you don't have, or you don't not have that other side of you and make it this far in the game, if you get what I mean. So yeah, defended so well. It's a lottery penalties. No shame in taking PSG to penalties. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen Vicario save a pen. And that's something I noticed. Like when I was talking about the game yesterday, I brought up Chevalier stats. Oh my god. GSY, you see what you're doing now? You're making me go on another thing. But anyways, it's fine, it's perfectly fine. So I brought up his stats, and how I like interpret stats is I use FBref to get the stats, but I don't necessarily understand what I'm looking at here, and that is not a crime, by the way. So what I do is I put it in AI and I tell it to interpret. Let me show you. This is what I do. So everybody, like even if you can't read stats, you would understand because it's visuals. These stats for me using gold stars. So everybody will be able to understand what they're looking at. Let me remove JSY's comments so everybody can see it. So this way you are able to understand what you're looking at. And that's, if you guys like, you don't check stats, like you know some players and you don't necessarily know how to check stats, this is something you guys can try. It will really help. So if you look at his shot stopping quality, like if you guys think back to that Van de Ven goal, that Paulinian shot, he saved it. He saved it like from that close range. He saved it. Then it was the rebound that Van de Ven latched onto. His shot stopping is top. It's top. Like honestly. His save percentage is very good. But if you check, let's go to penalties. Where's penalties? Let me search. Okay. What of his penalty stats? Let me show you guys. And we spoke about this yesterday with likes of Shanta and people that were here. Yeah, look at his penalty stats. Very poor. This was last season. But then when I now said, okay, you know what? Just to be 100% certain, let's go to the previous season. And that's why you can see this is open here. So let me show you guys, which is why, like, I already knew today that if we go to pens, I don't think we have a chance. What of his pen stats here? So I wrote stats instead of stats. No. Oh, this is my problem with AI. No. You know what? Let's do this. New chat. Interpret these stats for me using gold stars. Yeah, look, this is what I was talking about. The previous season before this last season that just ended, look at his penalty save percentage. And that's what I was saying. Like, so last season might have been a fluke. Maybe it was just a really bad season for him penalty wise. And that's why I knew that going into penalties this like today, like look at this. Look at this. Excellent on penalties. And that's why I knew that going into pens today, I don't know. Because I know Vicario. I've seen Vicario. And like, honestly, I don't even want to be mean or anything. But I think that as this team progresses, if Vicario doesn't improve, we're going to move past him. We are going to move past him. And I feel like right now, we're not really thinking about the goalkeeper issue. It has come up. Like there have been some conversations about Kinski potentially, but because Kinski isn't that good a goalkeeper, it has come up. But I feel like there are more pressing issues to solve right now. But with time, Vicario in this team is going to be discussed, because if you know you want to win the biggest trophies, you need very good goalkeepers. You need very good goalkeepers. Like, there are points that Alisson has won for Liverpool. There are points that Raya has won for Arsenal. There are points that Courtois. I remember that Champions League final against Liverpool. Courtois won that. Let me check for it for you guys. Liverpool versus Real Madrid UCL final. Stats. Yeah, I want to check for it for you. I think this game, I will never forget it because I watched it. My cousins were around. I was with my cousins. And yeah, I was with my cousins. And I remember on the brink of halftime, Karim Benzema had one shot, his first shot, Real Madrid's first shot, go ball, offside. I said, what just happened? In this game, Real Madrid had 4 shots throughout the whole game, 2 on target. These guys had 24, 9 on target. Courtois was incredible. Sadio Mane, all these guys, they were placing him, and this guy was saving like points for them. And that's the thing. A top goalkeeper, we're going to need that. And I just think that conversation, I know. Jesus, what just happened? And I know I'm bringing it up early now, but I think a top goalkeeper is something that we're going to need later down the line. And that's the conversation that's going to come up. Maybe later down the line when we fixed a lot of our other problems. Maybe it's not a priority now, but it's going to come up. Because I don't think that long term, the career is good enough. Tell and Gray need to go on loan. I don't even know if they should be in this club. Talk less of going on loan. I don't think we should have signed them. And that's a combined, I think Theo was for 50 million euros. So what's 50 million euros? Sorry, 50 million euros to pounds is 43 million pounds. So we spent a combined 83 million pounds on these two, on Tell and Gray. I don't even know what to say, man. Hello, Potus 5000. What's up? Nice to see you here. That's a very nice name, Potus. What does that even mean? What does that mean? Potus. What? Potus. What does that mean? Potus meaning? President of United States. What is a code? President of the United States. Oh my God. Oh, that's what it means. Mr. President of United States 5000. That's a very good nickname. Nice. POTUS. We learn every day. That's crazy. I didn't know that. We should have gotten Keller. The thing about Keller is, I don't know. Look, I think we should have gotten Mamadashvili. There's this other guy. Oh God, you guys are making me stay here way longer than I anticipated. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There's this other guy that I've been hearing about, Kaneseki. Let me check. I found him on FM. I've never checked his stats before. But let's check. Let's check today. Let's check today. They don't look bad. Interpret these stats for me using gold stars. No, oh God, AI. I don't know, since this chat GPT 5 has been acting weird. But anyways, should have got Keller. So this guy is save percentage is 4-star. Well, I don't know what is PSG. I don't know what that means. Clean sheet is 5-star. He's decent. So okay, overall goalkeeping profile, reliability 4-star, short stopping 4-star, sweeper ability 4-star, distribution serviceable but not elite, set pieces and areas could be more commanding. Let's check. You mentioned Kelleher. Let's check his stats. Because it's one thing. Is it double L? It's one thing to be number 2 and it's another thing to be number 1. Wow. Stats are really good. Jesus Christ. Lots of green bars. And green is always good. Like grass. Stay healthy, kids. But anyways, see me calling you people kids. I don't even know how old you guys are. I'm quite young. I'm 21. By the way, I'm quite young. So yeah. But I look older than my age because of all this small death on my face. But yeah. Kelly has stats. Let's look at it. So we have post shot XG. Post shot XG. So after shots XG versus goals allowed. So he's preventing a lot of shots or a lot of goals than expected. Sorry. Yeah. Save percentile is 3-star. So that's not very good. But how does that make sense if he's preventing more goals than expected? With solid but not elite makes stops you would expect with some game-changing saves. So isn't that meant to be good? Why do you say he makes stops you expect? So it's nothing special. But why do you now add with some game-changing saves? His penalty save 5-star. Ice cold from the spot. I like the ginger that ChatGPT is giving him. 100% record. Incredible. Elite penalty stopper. Clean sheet, top. One of the best in Europe at keeping his scoreboard clean. Mind you, Liverpool were very solid defensively last season, by the way. So yeah. Goals against, very good. Benefits from his solid defense, but contributes himself. I like the fact that they said he benefits from his solid defense. Crosses stopped, so he has a weak aerial presence from the stats. His defensive actions outside the box, he doesn't really come out of his line. Average, okay, is average in coming off his line. When he does, he sweeps. He's proactive and far from the goal. His distribution is passes attempted 4 stars. Launch, so he doesn't really launch the ball. Yeah, he doesn't really launch the ball. So he's always short passes. So he's a 4.5-star goalkeeper. That's incredible. But that's the thing. I feel like it's another thing to be number 2 than number 1. So I still don't know. Mamadashvili now is a top goalkeeper. You know what? There's this other goalkeeper. And I forgot, by the way, in one of my videos, I was talking about Jorgensen for Jorgensen for Liverpool, Newcastle. I forgot that Newcastle already have a goalkeeper. Let me show you guys this guy. I think he's at Villarreal or something. I think this is him. No, that's not him. Let me check. That's not him. Jorgensen, GK. I think this is this no? Okay. So I'm not even sharing my tab. Jorgensen, GK. Philip. Yeah. So let me show you guys. He's not the complete profile. Mind you, he's still very young. He's 23. Very young. Not just even for a goalkeeper, but for a player in general. He's at Chelsea. Is he Jorgensen? You know, chill. I don't think he's Jorgensen. Best FM 24 Wonder Kid goalkeepers. Sorry. FM. I'm coming. I use FM to find players, by the way, because a lot of these guys already scout players, and like they just like it's easier for you to just come here and find. Yeah, it's Philip. He's at Chelsea. Good Lord, this guy signed everybody. And this is the Chevalier guy that has gone to PSG. You can see his name on the list. Verbruggen is already at Trubin. Yeah, this is another one. Let's check his data. And he's so tall. Like he's so tall. What's his height? 6'6". Let me show you guys. He's 6'6", 6'7", 6'6.5". He's so big. Let me show you his data. But the thing is, this is another player from Shakhtar. Oh, sorry, Benfica. Sorry. Okay, yeah, he moved from Shakhtar to Benfica. Let me confirm. I believe so. And I think it was just a year ago. I remember Fabrizio. How many years ago? 3 years ago. No, 2 years ago now. Because this season just started. So 2 years. He has spent 2 years. And look at his match rating. Very good. Very, very good. But anyways, wow, 2 years. I remember Fab talking about this. But anyways, let me see. Let's check the data. Let's interpret it. I don't trust this ChatGPT anymore. This since we updated to 5, has been acting very weird and making some errors. I don't know why. But anyways, new chat. Interpret this data for me. So let's see the kind of goalkeeper he is. Shot stopping or goals against is conceding fewer goals than most goalkeepers. 4-star in a save percentage. Stopping slightly more than expected. More goals than expected. So he's overperforming his XG against. His penalty save is 4-star. Crosses stopped 5-star. Mind you, he's like 6'6.5". So tall. It's like a giant. Confidence coming for high balls, not easy at the top level. So this is not easy at the top level. Okay. Corner goals against. He's strong on set pieces as well. His distribution, his launch is bad. His pass completion when launched, 3 stars. So when he goes long, he's not good. He doesn't really come out of his box. His clean sheet is good. Yeah, he wins. He's playing in Benfica. He will win majority of goals. Wait, is he good at short passing? Use stars to show me instead, so I understand through visuals. So yeah, so short passing, comfort and accuracy 5-star, long passing 2 stars, overall passing 4 stars. So if it's short passing, is good. Can you see? This is a top goalkeeper. It's how old? Trubin is how old? Trubin is 24, 200 centimeters. He's 24. Like this is, I know Kelleher, Trubin, like they're and what's his market value? 30 million euros. But Benfica you would sell your soul to get him from Benfica. You would have to sell your soul to get him from Benfica. So I think that goalkeeper is something that we would have to review later. But I feel like right now we have more pressing issues. But yeah, guys, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I'm grateful to everybody that was here. A lot of people I met today. Thank you very much, Care. Thank you, Mr. Potus, President of the United States. GSY, thank you very much. Shanta, thank you very much. Detty Sanchez, I didn't even know what you were talking about here. Maybe because I went on a tangent and I'd forgotten the context. But thank you very much for the comment. Once again. AJ, thank you very much for the comment. Das Queries, thank you very much for the comments. Emmanuel, thank you very much. Azar, thank you very much. Tottenham for life, thank you very much. Dolphin, is nice to see you again. Thank you very much. And you guys, thank you so much for participating. I have gained a couple subs today. I think I had 62 subs, and now I have like +8. So thank you guys so much. I'm very grateful to every single one of you. I am here every night, and I don't just talk Tottenham, even though I'm a Tottenham fan. I try to talk everybody else because sometimes there might not be too much to talk about if I'm talking about just Tottenham. So yeah, I try to talk about everybody else, and I want to make this a football community for everybody, fans of every club. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'm very grateful to every single one of you. Thank you for the support, and I will see you guys next time on London Narratives. Have a lovely evening, guys. Bye bye. Take care.